hundreds and hundreds of thousands of miles. Is that exhaust smoke or see that dust over there?
Oh, there's something over there. Yeah, I don't know what that
someone
is.
didn't go off the road.
Hey folks, welcome to the Canyons and the Corolla GR Corolla Circuit Edition, the middle one.
The middle child.
The middle one. There's the base, the core.
Hardcore.
That's base. Yeah, it's not hardcore though.
No,
it's more
base.
like budget core.
Yes, it is.
It's more, it's more just like sad core.
It comes without a lot of things, although you can option them up. But we'll get there.
And the Circuit is the middle one. It's $7,000 more than the core, $7,000 less than the Morizo, which I drove for Road and Track's Performance Car of the Year test, and I will talk about that later. In this video, we will discuss how this thing compares to the Golf R, as well as the Civic Type R. We will discuss which version of the three you should spend your hard-earned ducats on, and most importantly...
Would it be yen?
Yes. Where are ducats from?
I don't know. That's your reference.
That's a slang. Occurs to me that I have no idea where my father got that term. He used to say ducats.
Oh, all right.
I don't know. Most importantly, what is an acceptable amount of ducats for your ADM? Because they're going to be ADM. How much would Zach and I be willing to pay for the experience of this car? Hey guys, today's video is brought to you by Factor, and I love that we have this Factor food here at the studio. You know why? I know you're not going to believe this, but something I forget to do all the time is eat. I may not look like it, but one of the ways you can easily find yourself unhealthy is by forgetting to eat, not making time to eat, and then getting super, super hungry and eating too much or not healthy enough food or eating at the wrong times. It's important to eat not just healthy food, but regularly scheduled meals, smaller meals more frequently throughout the day, and that's why I love Factor. They deliver fresh, never frozen, dietitian-approved meals right to your doorstep, or in this case, to the studio. We then have them in the fridge, so when I come back from a shoot, when I come back from my morning errands, I've got lunch ready to go. First thing in the morning, a Factor smoothie. Those things are sweet. Get it down real quick. Tastes great. Vegan. Lots of vitamins and stuff in there. And they are delicious. And then when I come back, I've got the perfect size Factor lunch. This is the chicken a la vodka with pasta and broccoli. It's super good. Factor's cheaper than dining in. You can put that money towards the holiday fun time that you're about to have this month. And thanks to Factor's commitment to ingredients with integrity, you can enjoy flavorful, chef-crafted meals totally guilt-free. Factor now offers 34 meals a week and 36 plus extra add-ons like smoothies, juices, and snacks to keep me going no matter what I have going on throughout the day. It really helps me stick to that idea of eating smaller meals more frequently and not getting so hungry that I eat a huge meal or an unhealthy meal. It's great. I love this Factor stuff. So you can get it yourself. Head to go.factor75.com/TST60. I know that's complicated, so hit the link in the video description. It's all right there. Use code TST60. Go.factor75.com/TST60 and then use code TST60 to get 60% off your first Factor box. And thank you to Factor for sponsoring today's video. Boilerplate items. Turbocharged 1.6 liter 3-cylinder.
Yes.
3, not 4, 3. But it doesn't really feel like a 3. If you rev it out, you'd be hard-pressed to tell the difference between the 3 and the 4. And the reason for that is because it has a balance shaft to balance it out, and then it has liquid-filled engine mounts to reduce vibrations.
That's very good. And it also has 300 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque. So that's also why you could mistake it for a 4-cylinder. Because it's making similar power to Elantra and Golf R, etc.
But with one less cylinder.
Yeah.
25.2 PSI of boost. It weighs 3,269 pounds, which is excellent for a car like this.
It's 100 pounds more than the CTR, I think. That's 3,185.
But all-wheel drive.
Right.
It has 14-inch front brakes, 11.7-inch rear brakes, 235/40 R18 Michelin PS4 tires, not PS4S, just PS4. The circuit has that standard forged carbon roof, which I very much like. And according to our instrumented friends at Car and Driver, 0 to 60 is 4.9, quarter mile 13.3 at 105, top speed 103. The quarter mile, according to Tony Quiroga.
Top speed 103?
143.
Oh.
Did I say 103?
Yeah, okay.
Top speed 143. The acceleration, according to Tony Quiroga, is slightly misleading because you have to shift to third to get to 60. You can't do it with just one shift. If you could do it with just one shift, it would probably be about a third of a second quicker. So that number lies. Sort of.
It's not as slow as that number indicates.
Correct.
It feels very quick.
Correct. You've got front and rear torsion diffs with the selectable torque splitter modes here. You can do 60 front, 40 rear, 50 front, 50 rear, and 30 front, 70 rear. I prefer the 50-50. You basically just press track mode.
And it should be said, the Core Edition does not come with the LSDs front and rear, but you can option them onto it. But this edition and the Morizo one do come with the LSDs, which you definitely want.
The Morizo comes with more stuff, and we will talk about that at the end.
And less stuff.
And also less stuff. But there's also a bunch of added structural rigidity from the base Corolla. It's spot welded. Not the same as seam welded, but it's better than not welded, like you'd find with a Charger.
Well, this has 349 more welds than the regular Corolla. It's also built on a different production line. GR has their own little factory where they made the LFA, the A80 Supra, and this car.
Yeah.
And this has a way more glue also. So there's a lot. They did a lot to this car to make it different from the Corolla. It's not just a Corolla with like some more power and some suspension.
Yeah, big differences. Here we go. 6-speed manual standard. And only 6-speed manual only. Now, because it is that 3-cylinder engine, peak torque is 3,000. So that's actually pretty high for one of these turbo motors, and it makes it very apparent when you start driving it. The car really doesn't have anything down low, but it revs so freely, it hardly matters. You just zing the snot out of it all the time. I think this Circuit Edition has perfect hot hatch ride. I love the ride.
Yeah.
I love the steering, super precise, communicative. The shifter is elegantly notchy, maybe not quite as slick as Civic Type R, but a lot better than Subaru, better than BMW, better than a lot of other manual shifters out there.
Yeah.
Brake pedal feel. Firm. Now we're up here at altitude, about 4,000 feet right now, so it doesn't feel quite as quick as it felt at the bottom of the hill, but I still think the power to weight to size is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much room in the front seat of this car. It's got a decent size hatch in the back, but it still feels really compact, which is good because I noticed driving up here that I don't have a great sense of where the corners are. Like, the visibility in this is kind of weird. The dashboard feels like it's 5 feet long. These A-pillars are really big, which of course is for safety reasons, but it doesn't feel like a tiny car because I don't know where those front wheels are.
Third gear is the gear for this road.
I think scoots, man.
It's
like,
real quick.
This is a very, very quick thing. Ooh.
So my right foot just missed the gas pedal there. Occasionally, for some reason in this car, like, the pedals are pretty good, but the brake is a little far from the gas, and so I have to remind myself when heel towing that I have to tilt my foot a little to the left as opposed to keeping it straight up and down. I got to tilt it a little that way to ensure that I have the heel toe. It happened the other day when I came up here in the wet to Good Vibes, and I missed the downshift because I went to blip and it wasn't there.
Well, that's okay, good point, because this does have auto rev matching, but what I like about this car so much, and that screams that it was really developed by the motorsport team of Toyota, is that it defaults to auto rev match off.
Yeah.
You can turn it on, but they don't. One, it's a hard button, it's easy to find, unlike the Veloster and the other cars, you have to go into the menu. And two, they turn it off from the moment you start the car.
Yeah, but the pedals could be a centimeter closer together.
True.
And I wouldn't complain. I like the clutch feel, it's easy. I let 3 different people drive this thing briefly that are not super experts at manual transmission, they all came back and they really liked the inputs and thought it was super easy to drive. But like right there, I saw a downshift coming and I had to shift my whole leg a little bit to prepare for it.
Yeah.
Man, I love the weight transfer. It leans just enough that you know where the weight is moving, front, rear, left, right, and it allows you to make adjustments accordingly, but it's definitely not sloppy.
Yeah, whereas something like the Fiesta ST, or, I mean, even the new Golf to a degree, like, that leaned over more than I was expecting.
Yeah.
And same with, well, we had that other Corolla, which I know was not a GR, but that thing had a lot more roll to it. This is the right mix.
Let's switch to diff to rear. Yeah, you can kind of oversteer it.
Well, you can turn the...
But it's not like, it is off. Traction control's off, yeah. It's not, it's easier to like huck it and then straighten it out exiting a corner than to just do like donuts. It's not really like a donut car. And I found that was the same with the Marizo at P. Cody. But I'm having fun and I want another minute or so. I like that the tack turns red. It's got some kind of built-in shift light there.
Well, I like this gauge system. Like, it's very simple. It's not expensive looking, but it's not an expensive car, and it's not built on an expensive car. But, you know, it's a simple, like, LCD panel. You can change the displays. But my favorite thing is that it dims really well. At night, you can turn it way down, and it's not glaring at you like you're staring at a laptop screen. That's what I want out of a gauge cluster these days.
It's such a good entry speed car because it really does not have any understeer, under braking, and the steering is like super precise, so it allows you to make those adjustments on the entry. It's very good. Lack of an armrest is noticeable. I would like that, but otherwise, aside from the lack of armrest, this is a very comfortable car.
Yeah,
these seats are really good.
They're not very adjustable. Like, there's no adjustable lumbar bolster, but they are shaped so well.
But they've just done a very nice job.
That I do not care. Everything is really easy to find.
These out of here? You want me to like hold those?
That's all right.
That's fine. I'll just do that.
The button placement is good. Buttons on the wheel. Thank you for keeping buttons around, volume knob, etc., etc. I like single zone climate control. Like, it's real basic. It's like, look, the driver decides.
You want to go down? You can go down. You can go that way if you want.
Yeah. All right, we'll go down. We can come back and end here. All right, so I'm going to put it back in track mode. I like it with the 50-50 split. I tried them all on the way up here. You can absolutely feel the difference.
Yeah.
Like, the front bias, it feels, you know, you get on the gas a little early, it leans back a lot more. Rear bias, you feel a shove from the back. It's a good little system. And you can kind of tuck it in. It's very reactive to like those mid-throttle lifts, like a front-wheel drive car, a rally car. If you lift in the corner, it does tuck the nose, and it will let you left foot brake.
Yes, it will.
It will not completely cut the throttle all the way to zero when you do that. So you can tuck it in like that if you want to. I mean, if you're on a loose surface, this would be so much fun.
Yeah.
This car really, you know, picks up where the STIs and everything left off, but I feel like, I don't know, this feels lighter than the last STIs I drove.
Yeah, it does. And on the track, I like the 50-50 mode the best. Even when I was trying to get it loose, I still found the 50-50 mode to be the best at it. The 70-30 mode, it didn't really do much for me. I remember those two on the way back.
Yeah, it feels not artificial. It just feels odd. It doesn't feel like a rear biased all-wheel drive car. The way like the BMW M240 X-Drive we drove, it feels like it was rear-wheel drive and they added just the right amount of front to kind of work that front end out. Same with the GTR. But this just still feels like it's kind of confused.
Yeah, you have to jump up to something like an RS3 if you really want it to get a real significant amount of the power to the back in a way that will make it behave like a rear drive car.
You can make such good pace with this car. I think the steering weight is okay, but I don't think it's that communicative with what the front wheels are doing. So
I don't feel it in my hands. I feel it in the rest of the car.
that I
feel it in how the
with.
car moves.
I think all of that spot welding and glue, like it's not just marketing speak. You go over bumps in this. There's no rattle, there's no shimmy, there's no twitch. Like everything feels like it's being handled through the suspension instead of with like some flex of the chassis. It feels like a really, really solid platform. And I mean, people are probably going to turn these into rally cars for, North American Rally or whatever, and hopefully it withstands that and the shell holds up. This is just such a fun little thing.
I drove this up here last Friday in 42 degrees and raining. It rained the whole way up. It was wet the whole way up, and the car was so composed in the wet. Obviously, pretty decent turning radius, little car. It was so composed in the wet. I had so much confidence. You know, these Michelin PS4 tires, they work down to basically freezing temps.
It was 37 degrees when we drove up today, and they felt really, really good.
And I did not have the confidence as much, shocking, in the Morizo edition in New York, because that comes with Cup 2s.
Yep.
And so it did make a big difference. And that's why the circuit version to me is the best version.
Yeah, I think it's the best looking version. It comes with the good hardware, but it's not missing key things like the back seat, or some of the sound deadening, or the rear speakers that they delete for the Morizo edition,
or the back window regulators, or the rear wiper. Which, by the way, I drove the Morizo edition in the rain, and let me tell you something. I would have used that wiper.
Yeah,
and I didn't miss the pound and a half I saved by not having it.
And they take the back seat out, and the total weight savings between the two is 100 pounds.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much of that weight is the rear seat and how much of the rest of the little things like the rear windshield wiper. Like with this, speaking of weight, this has a carbon roof, which so does the Morizo edition. But in the actual press release, it said, I swear to God, the phrase was precious ounces.
Precious ounces.
Against the steel
That's even
roof.
better than Porsche's marketing for the carbon roof.
Which was
Porsche's was it saves 30% of the weight of the roof without saying what it was.
Yeah.
Precious ounces is that's how you would describe cocaine.
I was or gold that you lost when you owe someone money. I was really shocked to see that was the only weight savings. It wasn't, pounds.
No, it looks cool though.
It does look really good. I mean, the shape of it is strange and aerodynamic and kind of robotic, but save weight where you can.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
It's really funny when you're driving this car on the street, non-enthusiasts don't look at it twice. It's a Corolla.
Yep.
The differences are subtle. And at least for now, when I parked it at a car show, it was the star. Now that, as people start driving them and buying them and seeing them around, it will not last, right? It's going to become, like if you saw an STI at a car show or something. But people are very, very excited about this car because A, we thought the segment was dying, right? And B, it's a car that you want to beat the shit out of from a company that makes cars known for
that you
surviving,
can beat the shit out of.
Getting the shit beat out of
I
them.
completely agree. Whereas Subaru, as good as those cars were and as legendary as they are, they all have a reputation for blowing head gaskets at 100,000 miles.
Yeah.
They are not known for going hundreds and hundreds of thousands of miles. Is that exhaust smoke or see that dust over there?
Oh, there's something over there. Yeah, I don't know what
someone
that is.
didn't go off the road.
Now there's a possibility that this car, which is brand new, might develop problems. So don't hold us to any discussion of reliability just yet. What is that?
I mean,
someone Derifto?
Oh, someone's doing
Shelby Mustang.
Shelby
Hertz. Yeah.
Oh my God.
This guy. Someone rented a Shelby Hertz. And is up here doing some.
Before we even saw them,
they came by us before.
Doing it for the gram.
Rental car donuts.
I was gonna pull over there to finish, but I'll pull up over here.
No, let them have their fun. I'm not gonna raid on somebody's rental Hertz Shelby parade.
I mean, the good thing about this is they have this engine in the GR Yaris, so maybe it has a little R&D. But I agree with you. If they have to have a balancing shaft and if they have to have all these other things, it's a little bit of a new adventure.
Yeah,
so
not that
hopefully
it will, but it
lasts
could.
a really long time.
And you don't want to say that a brand new car that's just come out, that's got a new engine, that doesn't, I guarantee there's no GR Yaris's with 100,000 miles yet either. So
good point.
We can't say for sure that this will be as durable as a 4Runner.
As a Camry,
but it might. It could. And the company's reputation is that it should be good.
Yes.
It's basic in here, but I genuinely don't care.
I don't care either. I mean, if you want to have a fun car that doesn't cost a ton of money, do you want the good performance hardware, suspension, differentials, or do you want it to look nice but not drive very well? You have to choose.
I want the seats and I want the inputs. I could use an armrest. I'd pay an extra $250 for an armrest.
Well, neither of us have an armrest. I mean,
no.
On a long drive, that is very annoying.
An armrest would be good.
Yeah.
So, the questions. Which is the best version of this? We've already alluded to it. The Circuit is the best version. The Morizo is really for collectors. They're only making 200 of them. Yes, you get shorty gear set, which is nice. Yes, you get 20 pound-feet extra of torque, which is nice. But also, a $53,000 hatchback with no back seat, no rear window regulators, no rear speakers, and no rear wiper is dumb.
Stiffer ride, wider, stickier tires, but like if you're driving it anywhere but the track, according to you, it's very bouncy. Whereas this has
me up. This
has a good sport ride.
Yeah. No, the Morizo beat me up. I didn't like it. If you could get the Morizo's tune, gear set, and wheels with this as options, either factory or dealer installed, then it would be perfect.
I mean, I think the torque will come from the aftermarket.
Yeah.
So will the wheels. The gear set, that's different. It's pretty cool that they did that, and it's a little bit stiffer chassis, but not by very much.
So I would say the Circuit is the one to get if you can get the Circuit. If not, option up the Core to as close to the Circuit as you can. This versus Civic Type R.
I would choose this because I like the ride around town more, and I just like having the all-wheel drive. I would have more fun with it. I would take it to the snow. I would do other things like that. I like the all-wheel drive stuff.
Me too. I think the inputs are very slightly better on the Civic Type R, but I like the dynamics and the ride of this better. I like that it's a hatchback.
And I think the Civic always feels like a big car. It is nicer inside.
Yeah.
Like everything about the Civic feels a little bit more upscale than this. But this just feels like a little bit smaller car.
Yeah, I like that it's a smaller car, but it still has a bunch of room in the front two seats.
Yeah.
And then how much would you pay? This is a $44,000 car. How much would you pay for this experience, Zach?
47.
Yeah.
45.
If I really wanted one of these and the difference between getting it and not getting it was like $3 or $4 grand in ADM, I'd probably suck it up, because the resale value will probably be pretty good at the other end.
Yeah, they're not making a ton of these.
But under no circumstances would I pay a $10,000 or $15,000 ADM on a car like this. I would just buy a nicer car.
Yeah.
But bravo to Toyota. It's a really, really fun car. If you have an order in for one and you haven't gotten it yet, hold your order.
Yeah.
You will not be disappointed. I can't imagine nobody on the Road and Track staff that drove this car was disappointed with it. Now, a bunch of us agreed that the Morizo was not what we would want, but when you drive it, it takes a minute of driving this to go, oh, they're not fucking around.
No, well, you got all the big brains from the biggest brand in the world and their racing team and GR, and they all got to control everything. This wasn't in partnership with BMW or Subaru. It was just them.
Yeah. So, thank you guys for watching. Thanks to Toyota for letting us have a go for a week. See you next video. Bye.
And remember, always fight your tickets. Use code TST10 on the Off the Record app available in the Android and iOS store, or go to offtherecord.com/TST.